So today I'm going to be making some gnarly old rocks that you can use and cast with resin. They're really useful and very, very versatile. So as you can see, I'm going to be using aluminium foil to actually make the blanks that I'll use to make the silicone mold with, and I just make little cups out of them. And I'll be making the blanks out of this plaster moulding or plaster of Paris. It's really easy to get hold of. I put the link in the description below. And the reason I do this is I have real problems getting hold of gnarly wood, and if I do, it's very expensive. And also gnarly rocks and different things that I want to put into moulds or dioramas and different bits and things with my resin. So I'm just mixing up the moulding plaster here, just using normal water. And remember, you don't get a long working time with this. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. And then I'll tap it, because I want as many bubbles to come to the top as possible. And then I don't want these to be too deep, so I will start pouring my plaster in them. Okay, and then I'm going to tap them because I want them to be as flat on the top as possible, ready for when I mould them. And it also helps get any little trapped air bubbles out. So they're all ready now. I'll just leave those there to cure. That shouldn't take long. I will leave them for about an hour because I'm going for my lunch, but as you can see, it's already starting to harden up. These have gone hard now, and they are quite easy to take off the foil, but be careful because they're still, unless they've been hardening for a couple of days, they are still quite fragile. I've taken all these out of the foil now, and as you can see, there were one or two little air bubbles in there, and I don't want air bubbles in there when I'm casting them or if I'm going to paint them. So what I do is I just take a tool, and you can just use an X-Acto knife for this, and I just scrape those little air bubbles away. And because these are gnarly rocks anyway, it's not really going to make much of a difference. Now, the other thing you can do with this tool, for instance, is if, for instance, like on this one, I've got quite a big trench here that I particularly like the way it's coming out, but I would like that to be a little bit more pronounced and a little bit more gnarly. So I just go in that with my knife, and I can open that out a little bit more. Because I'm going to make a silicone mold with these, I want the bottoms of these to be as flat as possible to get the best mold. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bit of sandpaper. I'll just take the actual bit like this, and I will just rub it down until it becomes completely flat. Okay, so these are ready now, and what they've had is, I'll just take this one up, they've had 2 coats of a satin finish varnish as opposed to a gloss finish or a matte finish. The reason I've done satin is because actually I don't want them to be a high gloss finish when they have come out of the mould when using resin, but I do want a slight edge to them, so I've got the satin finish in there. I've mixed up my silicone and I'm just going to pour it in here now. I only want a couple of, about 3 mil over the edge or over the top of these things. This is cured nicely now, as you can see. It's been overnight and there's hardly any bubbles on the top, so that means there isn't really going to be any bubbles underneath. So let's have a look. No, they've come out really, really well. I'm actually very pleased with those. I will just trim these little flaps up because they don't need to be there. They're just where the silicone just went underneath the plaster while it was working, but it's only very thin, so I'll just trim them up, make it a little bit neater, and then we'll come back and cast it. I'm going to be using 4 different methods of making these rocks because I will use these for different things. And I will put them into dioramas, I will put them into resin castings, or I may just use them as a piece of ornament or background for something else. So as you can see here, I'm just brushing on the mica powder. I've done a couple of videos on this. It gives a great result. I don't want it to be just black, so I'm actually using some other colours as well, as you can see, to ping it in there. I'm doing the same with the glow-in-the-dark powder, and this, if you've seen my video, check it out on brushing in glow-in-the-dark powders. They work really well and save a fortune. I've got everything mixed up now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop the resin into the two that I've painted on the powder. Okay, there's that one. And there's that one. Now a few bubbles will come up, but I'll just pop those with my heat gun. There we go. So this is the mixture of glitter. And I use fine glitter because I find it doesn't all sink to the bottom of your mould after you've poured it. It kind of stays where it is. You don't have to worry about your mould thickening up, or your resin, sorry, thickening up. It just kind of stays where it is. I will put the link to it. It's not expensive. I'll pop the link in it for it in the description. And this is the metallic gold. I love gold, as anyone who's watched my videos knows. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll leave those to cure. I'll let the bubbles come up. There's quite a few come up in the glitter because that's where I've mixed it quite rigorously. And then we'll come back to those when I demold them. These have cured now, which is great. So I'm just going to pop them out of the mould. And they come out really nice and easy. They always do in the homemade molds. And I have to say, I absolutely love these. Again, I love molds when I've made them myself. They just give me so much pleasure and joy. I think that one's come out really well. We make a good space alien planet, I think, rock with the mica, or terrain if you want to use it for things like miniatures or little war miniatures, or putting it in a resin diorama. I might make some bugs and put on that. I think the glitter one has come out really well. I do like all the different coloured glitters in them. They've come out lovely. The gold one, yeah, I'm pleased with that. And again, like I said, they're not too shiny because I used a satin coat on them. As you can see, the bottoms are really, really shiny. But because I used a satin coat on the actual plaster itself, they've come out not dull, but not overly shiny, which you wouldn't want for rock and things. Now, I don't know how this one's going to come out because this is the one that I used the glow-in-the-dark powder for. So let's have a look and see if it's dark. It might not be dark enough yet in here to really see it. It's glowing a little bit, if you can see around the outsides. But it does need to be dark outside, really, before that will start to glow. And that would be good for an alien diorama. So I bet you can guess that the next thing I'm going to be making is an alien diorama. And I will probably be using this piece. I might make another piece and join it onto it. And I will probably use that piece and possibly that piece and that. Well, so all of them probably, really. I'm going to cut that bit out. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below. It really does help my videos when you leave a comment, and especially when you hit that like button. And also, please join my Facebook group, How to Resin with Steve McDonald. It's really starting to grow well now, and it's a great fun group. There's some really good things going on there. And anything that you're looking to buy that I've used today in this video, all the links are in the description. So just click on the links, it'll take you straight to that product. Okay, thank you. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye.